for this cute little librarian look because we're in teaching mode. We are going to be teaching some fun, interesting, and sexy facts that you thought you knew the answer to, but to find out, you don't. So we're going to start off with our glass of wine, which is unfortunately still unalcoholic. But we are waiting for our shipment. So stay tuned so we can get really drunk during our time here. Okay? That's trash. Anyway, so let's get started in the conversation tonight, shall we? So the first thing, which I don't even know why I decided to ask this question, because it's like, duh, evident, hello. And the question was, how much energy should one invest in their relationship? That sounds like a very dumb question, right? How much should you invest? Well, you should invest as much as you can into your relationship because you're hoping that it will profit. But once you have found out that there is no longer serving you, giving any dividends, then I suggest you leave and part ways and just say toodles, because obviously it's not serving you. And I say you invest in a relationship that is serving you. Okay? So, yeah. I don't know why I had that as a question, because duh. How much should you invest? Yeah, you should invest the whole kit and caboodle, So don't know why I asked that question, but whatever. A story time with you. A quick story time. And this is and it's something that actually happened recent. So, which again, let me let y'all know. Please subscribe to the YouTube so you can catch all current episodes and watch the past episodes too, because you never know what was relevant today could still be, but what was relevant tomorrow could be still relevant today. That's what I meant. So, yeah. So, okay. So, my Kaynichole After Dark is about sometimes it depends on the messenger, right? So what does that mean exactly? Thank you for loving story time. I appreciate that. So what does that mean exactly? Sometimes it depends on the messenger. Okay. So as you guys see, I'm here to be a voice, a messenger, if you will, about relationships and encouraging my male and my female counterparts that there is still love. You can still find love in the culture, and that you don't have to have this negative and pessimistic mindset that what is for you and what you pray for will come to you. Sooner rather than later. But patience and other skills must be learned before you can actually sometimes meet that person. So like I said, I am a conduit. I'm a messenger, right? So I had my last live and my last Kaynichole After Dark was regarding not letting everybody sit at your table. Mostly talking about the whole race relations. There was a conversation I had on another podcast that I am on, and they were talking about how that's so divided in the Black culture and this, that, and the third. And so I did a little bit of a deep dive into that conversation and my own experiences and things that I know. On the messenger, right? Because every message you're not always going to receive. And some messages you clearly need a different messenger. So that is what this is about, basically, because I talk on so many different subjects. And as many influencers, educators, however you want to see it, sometimes touch on the same topics. So especially when you're in the field of helping people in marriage and family and talking about trauma and talking about relationships, a lot of the things are going to overlap and you're going to hear over and over again. Okay? So with this particular conversation that I was having, it was about not everybody can sit at your table. Okay, in this particular segment of the race relations, that everybody cannot sit at your table, that some people are there as, you know, thieves, for a lack of a better word, that some people are around you or are around our culture because they want to just get the lollipops and gum and all the fun stuff from our culture, but not really stand by us and be there for us, but just like to be entertained by us, right? So that struck a nerve and a core with me because I feel like oftentimes we as a people are too open to other cultures. Like I said, I don't understand people being allowed to say the N word. You know, so what? You grew up in the hood. You don't look like me, so why are you using it? And I feel like we give cultures a pass to disrespect us. So on that note, I was sharing about how I felt about that and how I see it. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends about it and saying about how, you know, how deep this was to me. And I appreciate their support, love them down, that they watch my episodes. And they resonated more with the second half of the conversation, which I felt I was just adding in so that it wasn't completely like somber, that it wasn't me just seemingly angry and just, you know, sharing this information, but, you know, having it well thought out and having, you know, another topic along with it, which that topic was about, should you be entitled to what your partner saves, right? And I was having that conversation, but that was peas and carrots to my race conversation that I was having. Like, it was like this compared to like this. So I'm like, so anyway, the friend, I kind of berated the friend because I was pissed the fact that they did not seem to care about who sits at our table. And so I was sharing my thoughts. And they're like, well, the other topic resonates with me better. And I'm like, it should all relate to you. So, but let me not digress. So they see something by a bigger influencer, right? I believe his name is Godfrey. He's a comedian. And they saw a post by him. And he was sharing the same freaking information I was. Mind blown, right? People talking about the same stuff, right? Like I said, if we're talking about culture, we're talking about relationships and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot of overlapping, right? So this particular thousandaire followers and everything, like 100, like I'm sure he has over like 200 and something followers already. Okay, compared to my measly little 30,000 followers, right? So he's big coconuts compared to me, right? So that was cool and everything. I liked how he presented the information, but a big part of me was livid. I tell you, pissed, because I'm like, I am saying the same freaking thing that this person's saying. Yes, they have way more followers, and yes, it's more visual with a video and everything like that. And here I am just sitting in my little chair talking, but it's the same freaking information, right? So I was tight, right? As they're even telling me that it's the same information, I'm getting annoyed, right? But I have to realize, that's why I gotta take it back, right? My experiences, things that happen, I gotta take it back to y'all. And so y'all can understand that this is not an isolated incident. We do this to our partners all the time. And like I said, a relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a situationship, it's still a relationship, right? So let's not mixed things right there, okay? So sometimes, hey babes, how you doing, Mels? I hope all is well with you. I miss your beautiful face. And I miss you beating mine. So it's oftentimes we tell our partner, right, till we're blue in the face, some information, right? Let it be small, like, I would love for you to come home and make me feel wanted, right? Either male or female, right? You say that. I want you to make me feel wanted when I come home from work. I want to feel like you want me to be here, right? And your partner is saying that over and over again, different ways, different languages, you know, and they're not getting it. They're not freaking getting it. Hugs from far away. Hugs, hugs, hugs. So they're not getting it. So you send them, right, information that coincides with what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're saying. And some people, and I pause because I've had that with another relationship, and they said they got it and they still did none of it. So again, that can be a sign too. If a partner says that they understand the points that you've been laying down and you've been providing other information that shows those points, and they're like, oh, I understand, and there is no change being done, run, because they're playing with you. They're playing with you. So, and now that I realize that, I will run for the hills. When I say something, I reiterate it with videos that are coinciding with the feeling that I'm having, and they tell me they get it and there's no change. Yeah, that's a problem. Dismiss, exit, stage left, please. Okay, so yeah, male or female. If you were reiterating something to them and they say that they got it and there's still no change, sayonara, peace out. There's nothing more to talk about. So happily, this person understood, okay, the information and was like, oh my goodness, this is what you were saying. Now I kind of I now understand why you were upset. And that's because they're giving off basically the same information. Maybe it's in a different way, but it's still the same information. And so I am letting you guys know, right, that if a person were to come to you and say, oh, I got it. And I also had a conversation about people that, you know, you share this information and they're like, what? You said this before? I never knew. Yes, that can be irritating as well. Okay. And also very, very annoying. However, I am encouraging you to give them grace. Okay. Because sometimes it depends on the messenger. Sometimes, I mean, I know that oftentimes we always say, like, look out for the messenger. It depends on who's giving the message, like, watch out. But for this particular conversation, yes, sometimes the messenger is of the same sex as them. So they hear it with fresher ears. Sometimes the person says it with more vigor, more vitality, more excitement. Hey, Kenya. And that is what resonates to their ears. And they're like, watching from Ghana? Oh, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. I love that. Thank you. That makes me so warm and fuzzy inside. But I thank you for watching the live. But if you can always, again, for those that are tuning in, please check out the YouTube Kaynichole After Dark. It is in the links in my bio. Please like, subscribe, comment. I would love to get your input. It's a conversation, right? So I would love for you to be a part of the conversation and the community because, yeah, I mean, with all of us together, we can build whatever we want, right? So, yes. But yeah, so sometimes the messenger can be a catalyst for change. Let them know that you appreciate that they now understand the information. Because, like I said, it's about giving your partner, the person in your friendship, relationship, whatever, grace. Okay? That yes, they may not get it the first time by you. Sometimes the information has to be spilled out in a different way. And I'm just saying, have grace with it, be understanding, because we will all be at a point in time where a person is telling us something and we receive it better by someone we're close with, or maybe a perfect stranger, or maybe just somebody because they said it in a different way that fits more with their learning style. You know, like we say, some people are auditory learners, some people are visual learners, some people are kinetic learners. So sometimes it depends on the messenger. And sometimes you can't beat your head against the wall saying, why doesn't my partner get it? Because, and that's why I believe in, again, why there should be multiple messengers. Okay? Good messengers, by the way, because I know that not everybody should be the messenger of a certain message. Okay? But again, I digress. So I just wanted to share that, that have grace. Have grace. But now let's move into the fun conversation, okay, if you will. So this conversation, hello, welcome to Kaynichole After Dark. Please do like, subscribe, and join the YouTube. Don't just come here to the live, but see past episodes, okay? Yeah, baby. So let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. Oh, yes. We taking it back. So I wanted to do my research on the sexual relations, okay? And what was the preference? Because, you know, we always joke and laugh about Big Dick Willie. You know, Big Dick Willie. He be doing the most. Okay, we be loving us some Big Dick Willie. But is Big Dick Willie what we want? Okay? Because y'all always saying she want the anaconda. She want, what's the other words for it? You know, I don't know. I just know Big Dick Willie. Okay? So, anaconda, big dick, you know, whatever. So, I did my research to find out what the ladies like. Okay. Before I get into the sizing and everything like that, let's just talk about time frame, right? Because I'm going to go into a whole thing here. Okay. So it's going to be fun. Let me take a sip. You guys. So, how long should sex last? Right? It says adequately out of the rating was 3 to 7 minutes. Okay? Is an adequate sex session. A desirable amount of time is 7 to 13 minutes. I was kind of surprised by this too. But I think when they talk about sex, they actually mean the physicality of it and not the foreplay and everything else that leads up to it. I think this is strictly the penetration. 7 to 13 minutes. Desirable. Some thought that 10 to 30 minutes was considered too long. Now, I find that interesting because I guess it all depends on your day. I guess it would really depend on because if I had a busy day, 30 minutes is a bit long. Like, I got shit to do. Let's wrap this up, like rapito, you know? If I have more of a lazy day, chilling and stuff like that, I think that an hour, I'm with you, Mels, an hour would be adequate amount of time for us to do the deed and for me to feel like I've been satisfied and let's continue on with our day, you know? But I was very surprised by it having to be minutes, honestly. I was kind of surprised by that. But, you know, this is just a guide. This is not anything that we need to know specifically, because there might be females that want, 2-hour sessions for all we know, but desirable 7 to 13 minutes. Okay. Now let's get to size preference. Okay. And this is not just the inches, but circumference too. So the size preferred is 6.3 inches long with a 4.8 inch circumference. Yeah. I was surprised too. 6.3 inches is the general size preferred for a woman. 6.2 inches with a 4.8 inch circumference. Okay. So I just thought that was kind of, I think, I think a female should be satisfied with a good 7, that's a nice even, well, not an even number, but, 7 inches, 8 inches, but it was saying that women are actually satisfied with 6.3 inches. So I would think that's average. That's average. And a 4.8 inch circumference, I mean, not Mr. Pudgy, but I mean, it's all right, So that was interesting. Mine, I probably prefer a little bit longer, a little bit thicker, but to each his own. No. So, but it is true that size does matter. That hasn't changed. Okay. In statistics, the size still very much matters. Okay. 91.2% of women said that size does matter. Okay. So you got to be packing something. Okay. Doesn't need to be Mr. Big Dick Willie, but it gotta be a little bit something. Okay. Now, some women found that to be enjoyable, okay, 8.34, I don't know where they got the percentage, but whatever, found too big to be enjoyable. That 6 to 8 inches was most favored. Okay. So this is where we don't want any confusion. Okay. Let's go back. Size preferred 6.3 inches, 4.8 circumference. Okay. But overall favored size dick is 6 to 8 inches. Okay. So what's preferred and what's comfortable, and then what we just like. Okay. So yes, those that are tuning in, thank you for tuning in to Kaynichole After Dark. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow the YouTube as well as my Instagram. And yes, just join the conversation and not just watch me, but actually comment and let me hear what you have to say about our conversation. Okay, so 6 to 8 inches are the most favored, and I definitely agree with that. I'm in that category too. Very nice, very nice. Have I had larger? Unfortunately. And I have to say that bigger does not always equate to better. It really doesn't. A lot of times they have to know how to move, obviously, because you can't be Big Dick Willie and not know how to swing the anaconda, right? You're just like, the fuck, what's going on, So anyway. And okay, so it says 43.6% decide when dating. So that means that 43.6% decide on whether or not the dick matters during the dating situation, right? So if you're just dating, sometimes it matters. 43.6% of women says that while they're dating the man, his dick size does matter, And, it's unfortunate because with men, it's about a sizing thing and, too long, too big, well, too wide. And for females, it's really about the more of the circumference, right? And, because I've heard men talk about women, that were loose in the poos, for lack of better words, not favorably. Like I told a friend of mine, they used to tell me that a loose girl was like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. That visualization is crazy. Matter to women. How long it even lasts matters to women. So, but funny enough, even though women are thinking about the dick when they're deciding to date a guy, if that matters, what's even more crazy at that 56.6% will end a relationship over the dick. Of women will end a relationship because the dick is too big. 47.4. The dick size does matter with a one night stand. Okay. Hey, Marker. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well, Paul. For those that are just tuning in, welcome to Kaynichole After Dark. I'm your host, Kaynichole. Please like, subscribe, and follow the YouTube. It is in my bio. Be sure. And please, of course, watch the past episodes. They are fire. Okay? If I say so myself. So, 47.4% of women will have a one-night stand with a man depending on his cock size. Okay? And then they had the ideal size. Okay? That women think is like chef's kiss for the dick, which is 7.2 inches is the ideal size. I don't know what these half numbers are because it's like either it's a 7 or it's an 8. Like just to give whole numbers. But clearly people like half sizes. This might be for people in England, a lot of half sizes. What have I've heard that before? What have you heard before, Kels? And Paul, what have I walked into? You walked into Kaynichole After Dark on the second part of the episode. So again, to reiterate for those that are just tuning in and that are coming in, how long should sex last? An adequate amount of sex is 3.7 minutes. A desirable amount of sex is 7 to 13 minutes. And what was considered too long by a group of females was 10 to 13 minutes was considered too long. Size preferred of the penis is 6.3 inches with a 4.8 inch circumference. Alcal says women will in a relationship if they feel uncomfortable. Oh, yes. Okay, so 91.2% of women says that size does matter in a relationship. 8.34 found big to be enjoyable, but 6.8 inches is the most favored. 33.6 women will decide about the D when deciding to date. 6.6 will end a relationship over the penis being too big. Winnie, 47.4, will decide to have a one-night stand with a person depending on their penis size. And again, 7.2 is the ideal size for most women. Okay? So those are the stats. Okay? I did not make them up. You don't have to necessarily agree with the stats. Oh, shoot. But they are what they are. Okay? So for my middle of the road champions, you are perfect. Okay? The 6 to 8 ratio is wonderful. Continue growing at your pace. Continue being a grower and not a shower. To my large stallion men, I'm going to say it all will not fit. Get our muscles to relax. so that you'd be able to have better, more enjoyable sex, and not her just staying in one place because you're hurting her. Okay? We often think of sex as just for men. And by all accounts, it kind of feels like it's more for them than us. But I'm going to say, men, if you want to have enjoyable sex with the woman that you are in love with or that you're just clapping cheeks with, just make sure that she's comfortable. Okay? And there are a lot of things that you can do to make that a more enjoyable, more comfortable, more satisfying experience. Okay? But I'm just letting you know that your size does play a role in the satisfaction levels. Okay? So be mindful, learn tricks. And that's pretty much our show. That's Kaynichole. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube Kaynichole After Dark. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll be in touch, and I hope you do the same. And of course, always keep your crown straight.